just bring over another pile. Alright, next up we got a Machinery's Handbook 23rd edition. It's missing the dust cover. For some reason he had it in this plastic bag. I don't know if he was worried about this being in a moist area or what, but this is in really, really nice shape. This might even be cleaner than my current one. So I think right now my newest one is the 23rd edition, so I think I'm going to maybe swap this out. Just got a dent right here. That's a nice clean. So I'll be having another one of those up for sale soon. These are, the boxes are for 827A edge finders, and then he said that he believed they were brand new, never used, and I think he said that there's 2 of each in there. But then when I looked at them, I saw a couple of problems. First off, at first glance, this looks like it could be a Starrett. Although the Starrett version of this, I think, is the 827B, and I think it's thicker. This is an SPI in a Starrett pouch. This is a Starrett 827A, and this does feel like it's brand new. I would venture to guess this is new because there are no markings, nicks, or anything on it, or scratches, and I can still feel that slight slickness or gooiness of that anti-corrosive stuff that they send this stuff out with. And then in this one, we have another, looks brand new 827A in the pouch in the box. And then the fourth one is a general, excuse me, a general number 260. It's in great shape, nothing wrong with it, just not a Starrett. I keep these pouches in that, you know, for times when I buy a toolbox and I just find a stray edge finder in there and there's no, you know, pouch for it. I don't know why this was in there. Somebody took the time to cut this detail out of a piece of shim stock. Oh well, we'll get rid of it. Oh, that's sharp. Next up, nice Indicall, all complete, excellent condition. I already have one of these, and I have one without the box, but I'll sell this one because I don't need the box because it just sits right in my drawer in my toolbox anyways. I've got a square that is, oh, it's got some rust on one side, but I don't think there's any markings on it. Yeah, it's just got a generic unmarked steel square. Alright, I'll go grab another grouping. Alright, this is a really nice stout vice stop. So it's got a T-nut on the bottom here so that you can put this on the table of your mill, or anything with T-slots for that matter, and then you can adjust the height of this, and then it's got this bar with just a blunt point to it that goes in here like this. And what this is for is you set this up on the mill off to the side of your vise, and when you put something in the vise you bring it right up against this stop. So if you're doing multiples on something, you can actually you know, take out the piece after you're done doing the operation, slap the next piece in, and just bring it right up to the stop. The other thing you can do is if you need to take the piece out for some reason and then want to put it back in the vise, you can bring it right up against the stop and you should be right back in position. And the fact that this is so stout, and you know, it doesn't have any really flex to it, makes it a really nice one. I've never seen one like, I've seen them like this, but I've never seen one as stout as this thing is. And apparently stout is the word of the day because I just used it like 50 times, right? Alright. Trying to see if there's any name on this thing, because then you guys could check them out. I mean, this is not some homemade deal. You could tell because of the level of detail that they put into this that didn't need to be there, but makes it just that much nicer looking. So I'm probably going to hold on to that one and get rid of one of my other ones. These two thread pitch gauges were the two items that he added in after I got there. So I don't even know if this is... Yeah, this is a Fowler. It's in great shape. Oh, that's good. And then this one is also Fowler, but it's the bigger one, which the Starrett version of this is still brings pretty damn good money used. I'm not sure about the Fowlers. I'll have to look them up and get an idea. A lot of people offer those to somebody. This little box right here is loaded with just various vice stops. This, I believe, yeah, this is an SPI. I've got one of these already. Just have to check. There's two different sizes of these. The width of this groove is different on the two different models, depending on what size jaw you want to clamp onto. But these are kind of nice. What you got is you get a couple of balls right there, and you get a couple of thumb screws, and the end of the thumb screw has a beveled edge, and what happens is as that's turned down in there, it pushes this ball out to get the clamping effect. So they actually work really well. So this is a handy little tool, and these aren't that expensive, brand new. And you know, people make homemade ones too, but that whole ball and thumb screw design makes this a lot handier to use than a lot of the homemade ones where they just kind of like put a thumb screw right on the back or whatever. Case in point, here's a homemade one somebody did, and they're just using grub screws. Grub screws on the front and the back. That's not going to be worth much. And then this style right here, I think these might be genuine Kurt. And maybe not. They're not marked. But these are also really handy little stops. And you get a pair of them. And these, by design, because of the way they're made, can actually fit multiple size thickness jaws. This bag is just a few random indicator parts, mounts, stuff like that. And this is the last indicator, which is the one that's got an issue. So this is a, alright, so this is interesting. This is, it says EDP number 12144. It's branded Fowler, okay? But here's what I thought was fascinating about this indicator. So this is the Fowler X-Test series indicator. But look at the shape of the body. Look at the bezel. Does it remind anybody of anything? So this is one of my personal interrapid indicators. This is probably a 312B. So either Fowler was having the X-Test series of indicators made by Interrapid for them, or they really ripped off Interrapid, which if that was the case, you'd think they'd be sued, you know, out of existence. So my suspicion here is that these are both made by Interrapid, which if that's the case, then I would venture to guess that the Fowler X-Test indicator is probably a really good value because of the fact that you're basically getting an Interrapid. You're getting a higher end indicator for your money than you bargained for. Now this one's sick, but I recently actually just repaired one of these that had this similar problem, and it wasn't, I mean, it was difficult because I'm not an indicator repair person, but it wasn't impossible, so I might be able to do the same with this. First thing I noticed right here was this pivot point is way too loose, and that's just a matter of snugging up these screws, loosening these lock nuts if they're not already loose, snugging up these screws, unless the pivot point is broken. So if this took a fall or was struck hard here, that could have damaged this. If that's the case, then you know that's going to be a much bigger kettle of fish than I might want to get into. So look at the photo here of the newer version of the Fowler X-Test indicator. Right off the bat, I'm noticing, you know, the bezel is a completely different look to it there. Not just the fact that it's blue, but even the shape of it. Look at the body. It's got a complete straight body. It doesn't look like a cast body. So, you know, clearly, if you bought a new X-Test today, you're not going to get this. You're going to get something that looks much more import cheap DTI. In fact, I'm noticing out of 9 reviews, it's only got a 2.6 out of 5 stars. So a lot of people are basically saying that, yeah, that's a turd with feathers. More interesting little tidbits here. This is the current Fowler X-Test vertical indicator that you can buy on Amazon. And if we look at the body on that one, if we look at that indicator, that's a dead ringer for my 312 B-V, or whatever the heck that number is for the Interrapid. My Interrapid version of a vertical indicator looks just like that. The style of the bezel, like the style of the body, the coating on the body. All right, so I'm on the Long Island Indicator website, and they have a section on their website where they basically give their opinion on all the different brands of indicators out there, and they give some insight as to who really made what. And here's what they say about Fowler, and by no means is this the definitive. Fowler once relied heavily on English imports such as verdict indicators. These were about as good as English weather. Ha ha ha. Nowadays, they rely more heavily on Swiss-made gauges, but also offer lookalikes in their effort to remain competitive. Beware of wolves in sheep's clothing. They offer a pathetic imitation of the best test indicator. That would be like probably the one I showed you with the 2.6 stars. That looked like a best test ripoff. And an Interrapid lookalike is made in China and sold under the name X-Test. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. The best mechanical test indicator which Fowler offers is the Swiss-made Girod-Test. Fowler recently introduced Ultratast indicators which are made by Käfer in Germany. It is a respectable manufacturer but has been known to outsource to China. Repairs and spare parts, yada yada yada, goes on and on and on. But then it says down at the bottom here, when shopping Fowler, if it doesn't say Swiss made or German made, buyer beware. So what they're saying is, they're saying because this doesn't say Swiss made or German made on it, that they believe this would be the Chinese knockoff of an Interrapid. And I would have to agree that that might be what we've got here. I just noticed this tiny little washer right here on the bench. It fell out of this thing just by moving it. So I think that, again, that might be that that point is completely broken on that sucker. I don't know. One more little quick detail here. I just went to screw this little end cup piece back in, and I can't get it to screw in for the life of me. So I looked at it under magnification and found out the reason why I was able to unscrew it no problem but can't get it back in is because the end of the cup, the end wall of the cup is actually broken. That was the lock washer that just came off right there, but now it's jammed in there because I couldn't get it to go in straight. Gonna probably be pretty hard to see. That's actually broken on the edge there. All right. Take a look at what we got here. We got a nice little Albrecht chuck. It's in great shape. This is a 0 to 1/2 inch size on a straight shank arbor. Some surface rust on the arbor, but the chuck's still in great shape, so that's where the money is anyways. And then this is a Morse taper to Jacob's taper arbor. So that looks like that's never been used. And oddly enough, we have another Albert chuck here. This one is 0 to 1/8 inch. So this is a J1, Jacob's number 1 taper. Is that what this is? Yeah, that's the number 1. That's the number 1 Jacob's taper right there. So this arbor could be used on this chuck if you wanted a number 2 Morse taper. So if you wanted to use this in like your tailstock of your lathe, I guess. But for the time being, I am not going to put those two together. Oh, okay. So this is these are interesting. He actually thought these were pretty valuable, and in the end, you know, because basically was buying everything. This was one of those deals where he wanted to sell everything complete, which is another reason why he hadn't sold much. But these are marked AccuHold. This one is 3/16, and this is by AB Tool. The part number right, well actually that's a phone number right on there, 510 area code. I don't know what that is, but don't care. So apparently these are for holding small precision end mills and things of that nature, I guess, and then reaching down in somewhere. So these are both identical 3/16 AccuHolds. This one appears to be brand new. Yeah, this is brand new, unused. Even has a little Allen wrench included that fits these set screws. So I guess maybe I'll hold on to one of these just in case and sell one. Well, I guess he was right. New, these are expensive. Well, at least, you know, question is maybe this guy never sells any. He's got the 1/2 inch version, $250. There's a 1/2 inch short one, $220, and a 3/4 inch for $145. That doesn't make sense. Here's somebody selling a well, I'm saying that's new, $150 for a 1/4 inch, 1/4 inch, 144, 5/16. What did I say these were? 3/16. Well, let's get right to where the rubber hits the road, see if anybody sold any of these. Oh yeah, there we go. The guy selling the new ones has sold a couple of these. He sold the 1/2 inch short one for $220, and he's... Alright, so anyways, I was poking around and looking at what these were worth. But, didn't see any used ones of these sell, so that's going to be one of those things that it's real expensive to buy new, but the used market, who knows. What else we got in here? Got a micrometer wrench. Ah, yes, fly cutters. Alright, yeah, so I just took a quick look at these, and these all look like they're very similar, so I'm going to say this is probably originally a 3-piece set. I've come across some of these 3-piece set fly cutters like this, but they all had wimpier shanks. These are pretty beefy. Yeah, these are 3/4 inch shanks on these suckers. A little bit nicer. Oh well, see now that. Glad I didn't throw that in with my dowel pins like I sometimes do. I usually look to see how squared off the edges are. If the edges are really cleanly squared off, I check to see if it's a gauge pin. In this particular case, it's a Starrett 1-inch standard. This would have come with a Starrett micrometer. And this is a 2-inch, also a Starrett. So nice little find, unexpected. Also a number 278 Starrett V-block, engraved on the end, but otherwise in good shape, with what looks to be an original clamp. So that's nice. And then we've got these, which are a mystery to me. I've never seen these before. So it says on the back that this is a 2-pack of part number 10135, dial indicator pin chuck, 4-48 thread, by the H.G. Cockrell Company, made in USA, patent pending. So there's this is kind of dirty, so it's hard to see. Let me see if I can open it up. But there's a picture that shows this little cream puff in action. So it looks like it's made to thread on to your drop indicator and then allow you to hold a small dowel pin or some sort of a pin, I guess, for those rare occasions when you need to get down into a small bore. So not much to it. All right, we're coming down to the wire. All right, so remember way at the beginning of this pick, I talked about that there were 3 items I could see in the picture, but I had to find out who made them before I could gauge whether or not this was worth going down for. So let's get to those items. I got one item left before we get to those 3. I forgot about these. This is a set of, judging from the box, very poor construction of the box, I would say that this is the typical cheapo, El Cheapo import parallels. But they're in decent shape. Oddly enough, there's this piece in here which I kind of think maybe this doesn't belong in here, because these are all pairs, and it sure looks to me like from the indentations there that maybe there were a pair in here, and that at some point somebody might have just subbed it out with this. That just seems weird to me that you would have, you know, pair. Although, boy, they're the exact same length. You know, maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe this is actually what came in this set. Kind of funky. I don't know. So now the 3 golden items. Item number 1, 1, 2, 3 block set, which on its own, no big deal. But these are a pair of Brown & Sharp Ultra Precision 1, 2, 3 blocks. So these are pretty nice. Really good quality. And the thing about these is that they're supposed to be really high precision, and then they are made to go together. So if you, bear with me a second here. So some of these holes, there we go. The holes that aren't threaded, you would expect to allow this to pass through so that you can bolt these together. But you can't. So I don't know why that's like that. I mean, they are the correct blocks. They're clearly marked Brown & Sharp Ultra Precision right on them. Huh. Next up, another Brown & Sharp. This is the parallel set, ultra thin parallels. And again, these are nicely marked to indicate that these are the Brown & Sharp Ultra Precision parallels. Thin parallel set. And last item from this haul, the Brown & Sharp angle block set, the 12 piece. They made different versions. This is the 12 piece, which is nice. So we've got these nice little clearly marked Brown & Sharp Ultra Precision angle blocks. That's the 30-degree one there. I have a set not as big as this. I don't believe it's as big as this, and it's also a cheap Chinese import one. So I will now add this to my personal hoard and sell off those Chinese ones. Oh, so I just thought I'd show. This is the set that I currently have, which oddly enough, it's it's clearly marked, big letters, made in China, and it's a 10-piece set. Also has this sticker over here with this MSC part number, which clearly indicates that this is from the MSC value line, and it's still in the catalog today. There it is right there. I'll tell you what, look at that. That's the on sale web price is $119.05. So for cheap Chinesium, that's a little pricey. But then again, that's MSC. Not knocking MSC, but I mean, come on. We could say that, right? Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed this pick. If you did, please hit the like button. And if you're not already a subscriber, please consider subscribing. Till next time. Take care.